Hello and welcome to the messages from energy here on the Astroflower. We're going to be going into the chakra sequencing and obviously getting a message from the energy a little bit later on and visiting the center of the earth and seeing what's going on. There's a few things I do actually want to visit. I don't know if you've heard about it, of what's going on the Antarctica, what they're discovering at the moment according to the flows of the salinine water, the salt within the water, and the temperature and the directional flow as well. Um, I'll put something up around my head around about there, but so it's sort of changing direction and so forth, and it's all to do with changing positions of melting ice caps and so forth, where some parts are melting, some parts are largely growing. So it's all about that, and I think that's got to do with the pole shift. And I think we're entering into a phase now that this is where it's going to be very much one of the first signs, I think, more than anything else, simply because the magnetic field comes in through the South Pole, goes through the Earth, and then goes out through the North Pole and creates that dipole scenario for the magnetic field of the Earth. So this is a lot that's changing here, and it could, this is like the clock that's ticking down for us in the coming future. I'll try and go into that more detail in that in another video, but I thought I'd take a good look and see what's going on down in the center of the Earth when we're going in that. So just so you got a heads up, so you know what we're doing. There's another thing as well that I wanted to talk to you about. I did the energy, the messages from energy last week at a beautiful spot in the New Forest. Now, the beautiful spot is that direction behind the camera, as it were. And that line that we were on actually is the line that comes through here as well. And so I think I'm going to be following it each week following this line. I know the next place along the line that I'd like to go and visit. So just to give you a heads up of the sort of things that you're doing when dowsing an area, following lines over periods of time helps you to understand the energetic makeup of your own area. So if you're doing this at home, do start with a crossing point. Try and find the next crossing point, and sometimes it's even good to even walk between one crossing point and the other. Okay, so yes, it's you'll see that on a map there at some point around my head. It's just a sort of heads up of the sort of getting to know your energetic environment. It's very important because then you can find vortices, that sort of thing, energy vortices, which is the combination of several lines that make up a sort of triangle, and then the energy flows in one particular direction or flows in the other direction. I'll show you my map of the vortices of the Earth as well, because that explains the Bermuda Triangle, for example, or the Dragon's Triangle out in Japan and China area. And it's the way the energies sort of flow around each other, creating these spirals of energies. Okay, so it's just a heads up. It just helps you out as well when you're going exploring the energies around you locally. And if you are, tell us about it in the comments. It'd be lovely to hear from you and finding out about your adventures as well. Okay, yes, so energies. What's been going on with the energies this week? I think there's been a filament eruption, which you will be able to see just above me here. It's not actually going to affect the Earth very much, but that's that in water energy. That's that emotional energy that we looked at in the weekly readings on Thursday and Friday last week. And I was talking about that in the early part of the week, we risk to have that sort of earth-water combination in the way of energies, and we saw that on the sun as well, and we've definitely been feeling it on the earth. It's been a desire to get on and do things, get things done concretely, but there has been a lot of emotions as well that have been coming up to the surface, and it's been happening around me. I've been in a very good place actually in regards to my emotions. I've had a very good sort of week, solid emotions, as it were. And I hope the same for you. But sometimes we can get a bit overwrought, or if there's something that does need to come to the surface, it's better that you allow it to come to the surface. And even if it may cause a bit of a storm, I think you might find in the long run it will be a storm in the teacup. But it's good to get it out of the system. It's good to get it out of any relationships you might have in, family, friends, and one-to-one relationships as well. It's always good to, investigate what is, that emotion that you're feeling within you. So then you can understand a lot more about yourself. Now, I was also talking about that in the readings last week on Thursday and Friday, that in the latter stages of the week, we would get a combination of fire and air. Now, we're starting to see that fire and air scenario coming into play already. I don't think it's really going to be active till Friday, Saturday maybe, where we get much more directed flares in the direction of the Earth. And the Earth probably does need it, because the Earth, we haven't had anything in the way of major flares coming in the direction of the Earth now for nearly 2 weeks. And that's what I said 2 weeks ago in the messages from energy: enjoy the calm. And I have been personally enjoying the calm, and I have been incredibly calm. It's been absolutely fantastic. But, it's not getting frustrated with the world around us. As I said, I think things are going to start picking up by sort of Friday and Saturday, as I said last week. I think that's when the spices are going to come back a little bit within the energies. And within that spice, it will come to your life and my life and everybody's life, where things may get a little bit sort of, it can be incredibly exciting. First off, let's look at the positives to start with. It can engage us in a very passionate, speedy, courageous in a way, sort of energy, where we can get on and do and get in that sensation of kind of going, yes, I want to live life sort of scenario. And that's come out of the calm. So there is one other thing that I would like to specify now. I think there's going to be possibly a hurricane forming over the weekend in the Gulf of whatever we call it these days, the Gulf of America or the Gulf of Mexico, or I'm going to call it the Gulf of the Caribbean, just because I like Jamaica. You know what I mean? Jamaica? No, she went of her own accord. But, I think there, if we do get these solar flares that come out over the weekend, you may well see a hurricane forming within that Gulf there during, I would have thought, Saturday, Sunday. So you heard it here first. See what happens. Obviously, everyone stay safe, like everyone down in Texas and etc. Stay safe. A very bizarre situation there. I'm not sure we got to the bottom of why it happened and stuff like that, but obviously our thoughts and energies go out to everybody in that sort of direction. Digby, I hope you're doing well, my friend out there. I hope you and family are doing well. So yes, it risks to be, you may get a hurricane that comes in after those flooding. So, keep an eye out on what's going on from, I would say, from Friday onwards. Okay. So yes, let's get into the energies here. So we're on this line here at the moment. I can feel it already. Well, the moment you start speaking about it, you can really feel it. So let's just see what's coming through. Finding that 0 point. There we go. We can now see the morphic field, so everything that's playing around us. There is a degree. I can see my own aura playing a little bit with it here. But the energy that's coming through is this fresh spring water in a way. It's a bluish sort of, it's got a lot of emotions and communications, but it's not It's not spiky emotions. It's very soothing emotions. It's a time for making peace. That's what the energy feels like here. That's coming through generally through the energies at the moment. So yeah, I think there's a lot of peace to be had within, if you're connecting to the energies, I think you'll find a lot of peace, and that'll encourage you to engage in peaceful activities or engaging in soothing any sort of rifts you may have had in your environment or in your personal life and etc. in this coming week. There's a really beautiful energy actually. And I think this is also, it's building because there is a change in the energy environment that is coming. And I would say it would be turning up around about Friday and Saturday, as I said. So that's really beautiful. It seems very peaceful energy still, and that could be the calm before the storm. But I don't think it's going to be a major storm, but I certainly think there's going to be a major pickup, that's for sure. Okay, let's just see what we get in the way of messages from the energy. So let's get into the chakra sequencing. Sorry, I do apologize. Okay, so there we go. We got the morphic field there. We find our central point. Okay, so we got the crown and the root. Yet again, the crown seems to be much more important. And it feels like it's relaxing as well, as if like solutions are available. If you widen your consciousness and see the greater picture, it's going to be much easier for us to find the solution within your own personal life, but also the solution within our collective life as well. Really beautiful energies. It's on the move now. There it's moving down into the solar plexus, I would say, more than anything else. The solar plexus, there was a little bit of the heart as well that came in there. And I think the heart there was just sort of kind of going, please don't forget about this. This is what you need to be confronting, as it were. And this solar plexus energy it's not that it's tight, but it's certainly concentrated. It's certainly got a purpose about it. And it's more playing to the left hand side of the solar plexus. So and it's more midfield. So it's sorting out a situation here and giving the solutions to, having the courage to give solutions to a situation, be it through sort of administration or acts more than anything else. That's what it feels like. A really good energy, to be honest, really good energy. I think that ties into the crown chakra as well. Now it's moving on again, and we're moving up to the third eye and the throat chakra, which is really nice. The third eye is much lighter than it was before. It's full of possibilities, and I would explore. And I said this last week about exploring your consciousness. Now it's a case of exploring through that consciousness that you may have been exploring all this week. Now it's exploring the possible avenues, the possible pathways that we wish to sort of like follow in our lives as a personal, on a personal level. And that could be the job as much as sort of like emotional level. But it's much more sort of opening up to ideas and trying, it is a case of trying things out and seeing what fits right for you. We do have the throat chakra. Now, the throat chakra here is very low. I wouldn't say it's full on up into the throat, as it were. It's much more lower into the throat, in lower into the section there. And I think this is where it's encouraging to speak your inner truth. That's what it seems to be doing there. It's moved down now onto the sacrum. And this is part and parcel of sorting out the mechanics of how we live our lives as well. And it also plays a little bit more into the left than into the right. The right is a much more joyous energy, so making sure you have fun in life. but also at the same time making sure that everything is clear, that the groundwork is clear within your life as well, and in your connections to everything that is around you. Seems to be really good. And then it moves back up to the solar plexus. Now this is in a different position. This is much higher in the solar plexus. This is heading towards the heart chakra, as it were, or heading towards your central point. And this is giving you that sort of direction once it's clear within your mind's eye, and you've got that, you're talking your truth, and then you concentrate on the fundamentals. This gives you then the courage to actually then drive on and do, as it were, which is really good. And let's just see where it's going on from there, because it's on the move again. It goes back to the third eye and the throat chakra. This is a very complex, chakra sequencing at the moment. And I think this is also being very conscious about how you're converting what you've said into reality. That's what it seems to be saying here, because it's playing around the back of the head rather than in the front of the head. Now that's that inversion point between the third eye and the throat chakra. And that's a sort of like, inverting the what we're saying into the ideas of clarity, of the vision of what we want. Okay. And then it's gone to the crown and the root. There's no heart chakra in it this week here. So we're coming back to the fundamentals, as it were, sort of living life on the righteous path, the what you would say is your raison d'etre. And I think this is very strong this week about living what we should be living more than anything else. And it's all down to our interaction with everything that is around us, and how we position ourselves, how we communicate, and how we put our encouragement and our force into things. Okay, so that's the chakra sequencing. Let's just get on to seeing what's going on from the messages from energy. So let's get into the messages from energy. Now we're going to be obviously visiting the center of the Earth, because I want to see what's going on with the South Pole and so forth. So let's just find that 0 point energy again. There we go. You can see the morphic fields now appearing. The energy is now appearing around me. See that sort of misty colouring of energies that are going on. I've got the line that comes through me there. Absolutely lovely. Beautiful line that comes through. So now we're just following it to the behind us now, and walking up to that crossing point. There's that crossing point there, down into the vortex. There we go. Start going down into the vortex. As we go down into the vortex, let's just have a look and see what's going on just under that crust. It is starting that layer there. It is being obviously been very condensed now, and forming a perfect layer on the underside of the crust between the sort of lather, the mantle, as it were, as we go towards the crust. And yes, there is a lot more bubbling going on as I'm looking out through it. And there's quite a big one that seems to be over around India way. So there may be something that's coming to the surface, I would say, in the northeastern part of India. So, just keep a heads up for that and see what's going on with that in the next few days, the next sort of like 4 or 5 days. Okay, let's continue our way down. Now, just stopping there, I want to have a look at what's going on in the center of the Earth. I can see the plasma ball that's right down at the bottom, or right down in the middle of the Earth. And let's just now come down, see if we can see anything. Now we can see the North and South Pole. We're looking at particularly the South Pole here and what's going on. So let's go down to that central sphere and make our way down to the southern part of it. Okay, we did have a big earthquake over by New Zealand and so forth, right in the southern part of New Zealand earlier on today. Let's just see what's going on here. There seems to be the South Pole, because it's leaving Antarctica, it's heading towards Australia, the South Pole, like the North Pole is heading towards Siberia at an incredibly speeding rate. And the vortex of the South Pole seems to have a knot in it. And if you take an elastic band and you turn an elastic band, eventually the elastic band goes doop and creates a little knot in it. And this is what's happening here and it's almost getting ready to sort of like spring it into action. And this is what we could be seeing is the complications within the ocean flows around Antarctica at the moment. It's really building up a bit of pressure here, which is going to be released at some point without shadow of doubt. Okay, so that seems to be happening there. Let's move back up onto what would be the equator of it all. So here we are on the equator, just coming through. Was that a good visit?
It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Thank you.
Excellent.
A little gem.
Excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Right, just staying with that central point. Okay, there we go. We're in the center of the Earth there. Let's just slip into the central sphere. There we go, and see what's going on with the central sphere. Okay, they're talking about, there's a lot going on actually. It's a lot more busier than it was last week. There's no doubt about it. Everything seems to be calm and cool. Everything's under control, as it were, within the Akashic library that's being gradually, constructed through the souls that are coming through. There is that light that goes off. Therefore, it is souls that don't stay and go on to the main Akashic library, which you can find pretty much in the sun. But we also have that vortex or that portal that's in the middle. Let's just see what's going on there. There seems to be like, when a star twinkles, as it were, so and then returns to its normal light in a way. And yeah, that's could be to do with atmosphere and so forth. But we're getting this as well from the central point of energy that's coming through that portal. And it seems to have a little flash. It's almost preparing the ground, as it were. Let me just ask one of the Akashic Library administrators, do you have an estimation on that time zone? So you're looking around October, November time of that arrival, but preparation is already, it's almost like a trial run for the main galactic plane energy that will be coming through in the next sort of 4 years, 4 to 7 years, and that will create a lot of situations. But it seems like there seems to be like a preparation going on. It's like a trial run in a way, and they're counting down, making sure everything's in the right place and so forth. They're also telling me about the solar cycle 26. Now, I have been investigating it, and yes, I'm trying to do a desperate video on that at the moment. Let me just see what they're saying about that. You need to get out a heads up. So this is a personal thing for me. I need to get out this video to give a heads up of what is going on in solar cycle 26, because it's going to be affecting everybody's chakra system and energy system in very, very strong ways. So, that needs to be coming through. I need to be on the case for that. Let's just, let me just see if there's a message from that sort of portal energy there. It's showing me like it's like people are preparing for a camping trip. So kind of going, okay, so I've got my sleeping bag, I've got my line, I've got my knife, I've got my, my matches or whatever it is you've got, my bivouac, and there's it seems like there's laying things out in front of oneself. It's all about preparing, and it's not. There's no anxiousness about it. It's more sort of like making sure you're in a good place and preparing your life for the changes that will be coming down the line in the next 4 to 7 years, as we go forward. And it is about sort of like putting things in order so you make sure you have everything that you need, as it were. Very important, that is. Okay, thanking you very much. You're saying thank you, I've got to get on. Okay, and I thank you for that. So let's just find the portal, the doorway out of the center. There it is there. Just going through it. Let's just see what we get in the way of a message from the earth. Okay, so I've got like equivalent of Mother Earth sort of saying, you're getting so big. You're growing up. It's like she's talking to not a child, well, a child, yeah, but like a 10, 12-year-old, just pre-pubescent sort of age, as if to sort of say, you're getting old, you're getting older, you know, you're growing, your consciousness is growing. And I think that's all to do with that crown chakra as well. And it's sort of, don't forget, life is for living. You know, live your life as fully as possible. Absolutely lovely, really. But it's a great encouragement to live life in that messages, that energy that's coming through. Okay. We are all one. You are one with a tree, you're one with an animal, you're one with a fish. Everything that is on this planet and that has a coursing vein of life running through it, even down to crystals, of course. You know, we all have our purpose, we all have our part to play, and we should be playing it together. And I think this is reiterating that idea of this is our opportunity to find peace. And I don't mean just peace across the globe, this is also peace within you as a person. Find your inner peace. That's what it seems to be going there. So let me just thanking you very much for that. Let's just go back to that vortex. There's that vortex there. Okay, so coming back up through the vortex, up to the crossing point, and then coming back into the body there. Excellent. Very regenerating, actually. I feel very regenerated every single time when you do these sort of things. You know, it's absolutely beautiful. Really good energies at the moment. I think there's a good deal of clarity coming out of energies at the moment that's helping us to see our individual life with clarity, but also the collective, but also how the collective sits in all this beautiful energy and beautiful beings that are around us as well. So there you go. Don't forget about the readings, the weekly readings that come out on Thursday and Friday. Thursday is Earth and Fire. Friday is Air and Water. I didn't manage to do a live last week. I'm still having issues with Wi-Fi situation. So I do apologize about that. And I will be getting back onto the lives because I love the lives anyway. So, you know, we'll be getting back onto that live gig in the very near future. Okay, so yes, thanking you very much for all the support you give to this channel through the YouTube system, through subscribing, liking and sharing. It's absolutely lovely to see. Welcome all to the new subscribers that we had last week as well. I will see you soon, and in the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.